My name is Riley, and until last Tuesday, I thought the people I called family had my back. It all began with the most ordinary thing, a notification. I was on my knees in the hallway of my downtown Chicago apartment, scrubbing out an old turmeric stain from the runner rug. A souvenir from my cousin Benny's last visit, when he drunkenly dumped his late-night takeout and laughed it off. Never offered to help clean, of course. My phone buzzed from the kitchen counter. I stood up, wiped my damp hands on my hoodie, and grabbed it. A message from my cousin Ava lit up the screen. Weird. We weren't close, just shared the occasional throwback meme or reel from our teen years. I figured this was one of those. I tapped it. A video started playing. The camera was tilted, resting sideways like it had been carelessly wedged between couch cushions. The visual was shaky, but the audio? Crystal clear. Riley should be thankful. My mother's voice rang out, sharp, bitter, like she'd been holding in the resentment for years. She'd be absolutely nowhere without us. I froze mid-step. Then came my dad's voice, unmistakable, deep and smug. A pathetic loser, he said, laughing. But at least she covers our bills. More laughter. My ears rang. Then Ava's voice, the same cousin who had just sent the video, chimed in. If Riley ever stops sending money, we'll guilt her back into it. She's too emotionally fragile to stand up for herself. Always has been. My heart stopped. They were talking about me. Riley. Me. This wasn't a roast. This wasn't some misunderstood joke. It was the truth. Brutal, exposed, and so damn casual. For years, I'd paid their rent, covered Benny's repeated DUI fines, fronted money for Ava's grad school classes she kept dropping, and helped mom and dad with their mysterious emergency expenses. I skipped concerts, postponed my vacation to Bali 3 times. I stayed in Chicago instead of relocating to a dream job in Seattle, just to stay close in case of emergencies. And this was how they really felt. I just stood there gripping the phone, stomach twisting like I'd swallowed broken glass. Then, before I could even replay it, this message has been unsent. Ava had realized. She panicked, tried to erase her mistake. Too late. I could have called her, screamed, demanded an explanation, but I didn't. Something snapped. I decided to wait, to let them believe I hadn't seen it. That night, I sat in my apartment in silence. Their words echoed like a haunting lullaby. She should be thankful. A walking failure. She's too emotionally fragile. I wanted to believe it was twisted humor, frustrated venting, but deep down, I knew. They meant it. Every word. And the worst part? They were right about one thing. I was too damn soft. I'd said yes when every fiber of my being screamed no. Their issues had become my responsibility. Their lives? My burden. Dad's temporary setback had lasted half a decade. Benny's failure to adult was a bottomless money pit. Mom's sudden need for car repairs synced suspiciously with my paydays. And I kept paying. Quietly. Religiously. Because I believed they loved me. That belief? Shattered. The next morning, I woke up numb, brushed my teeth, made my coffee, pretended I hadn't heard my entire family mock me like I was a joke. Then my phone buzzed. Mom. Morning, hun. Just checking in. Hope you're okay. Too sweet, saccharine. She never checked in for no reason. 3 minutes later, Mom. Hey, rent's due Friday. Can you send it early? We're kinda tight this month. There it was. The agenda. The heat rose under my skin. The rage was volcanic. I stared at her text. My fingers hovered over the screen. The reflexive response waited in my fingertips. Sure, no problem, of course. But not this time. I erased the lie and typed something else. Me. I can't this month. Just 5 words. But it felt like rebellion. I pressed send, and I waited. 1 minute. 2. Buzz. Mom, what do you mean you can't? Her confusion practically screamed through the screen. I'd never said no before. I didn't reply. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Mom. Riley, this is serious. We're depending on you. You know that. Ah, yes. Translation. We never planned. We assumed you'd always bleed for us. Buzz. Aunt Celia. Hey, sweet pea. Your mom's worried sick. Everything all right? I nearly choked. Is everything all right? No. I just found out I've been nothing but a human ATM to the people I loved. No one asked how I was, only how soon I could pay. Me. Unexpected expenses this month. Can't help. Sorry. No long novel, no defensive explanation, just truth. The silence that followed was chilling. They didn't know how to respond. Typing, stop, typing, stop. I imagined my mom seething, trying to find just the right words to guilt-trip me into submission. And then, Mom, what do you mean unexpected? What could possibly matter more than your family? Classic guilt grenade. Still, I didn't bite. Mom, your brother will be homeless if you don't help. Is that what you want? Enter the guilt card. Mom, we raised you, Riley. We put a roof over your head. Is this how you repay us? I clenched my fists. They raised me? I worked part-time through high school, paid for my own college, lived off ramen and caffeine, graduated early, landed a job in one of the most competitive agencies in the city. They never raised me. I raised myself. Buzz. Aunt Celia again. Honey, your mom's just stressed. Please don't be like this. We're family. Send the rent and let's move on. Let's move on. For who? Them? I walked to the sink, poured myself a glass of water, and stared at the faint reflection in the window. I had always feared this exact fallout, but standing here now, I didn't feel panic or guilt. I felt peace, because the truth was out, and so was I. Buzz. Dad. Don't know what the hell your problem is, but this is unacceptable. You're acting like a spoiled brat. Grow up and do what's right. And there it was. No more honeyed concern, just raw entitlement. Then a voice note. Aunt Celia. I stared. She never sent those. Her passive-aggressive texts were her weapon of choice. But I pressed play. Her voice was clipped, ice cold. Riley, I don't know what fantasy you're living in, but this ends now. Your mom's a wreck. Your dad's had it. Frankly, I don't blame them. Pause. You've always been a bit self-centered. But this is beyond selfish. There it was. Selfish. Another word women get slapped with when they stop bleeding for everyone else. You have a good job, don't you? Money you don't even need? Meanwhile, your family is drowning. And you're just gonna what? Abandon them? She took a breath. You owe them, Riley. You owe us. And if you go through with this, don't bother coming back. Don't expect forgiveness. You're on your own. Click. Silence. And for the first time in years, that silence felt like freedom. Buzz. Mom. Last chance, Riley. Send the rent. I stared. Felt. Nothing. I blocked her. Then Dad. Then Celia. One by one. Delete. Block. Silence. And I thought that was the end of it. Until the next morning. Knock, knock, knock. Early. Too early. Dawn barely stretching across the sky. I held my breath. Maybe a neighbor. Maybe a delivery. Knock. Louder. Harder. I opened the door slowly, keeping my expression neutral. Blank. Unreadable. But inside my heart was pounding. There he was. Benny. My older brother. The family's golden boy turned freeloading disaster. Riley, he said. And the arrogance I'd grown used to was gone. His voice cracked slightly. You need to listen to me. I didn't move to let him in. I stood there in the doorway, arms crossed, blocking the entrance with my body and my silence. I don't need to listen to anything you have to say, Benny. His eyes widened like he was shocked I had the nerve to shut him down, like I hadn't just spent the past 5 years bailing him out of every mess he created. No, you don't understand, he insisted, desperation creeping into his voice. Mom's freaking out. Dad keeps calling me. They don't know what to do. You've cut everyone off. You can't just leave us hanging like this. Oh, that word again. Us. I scoffed, leaning against the doorframe. I didn't blink. I didn't flinch. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you think I was going to keep enabling you? Keep paying your rent? Your phone bill? Your overdue utilities? While you act like I owe you something? No, Benny. I'm done. His jaw tightened. His shoulders twitched, barely containing his anger. You're acting like we've never done anything for you, he hissed. Like we're just users, right? I tilted my head slightly. My voice stayed calm. Oh, I know exactly what you are. I've been your piggy bank, your emergency fund, your backup plan. And I'm tired. You want to talk about family? Family doesn't manipulate. Family doesn't leech. And guess what? I'm finally choosing myself. Benny's face twisted in rage. You can't just abandon us like this. You owe us, Riley. Those words hit like a slap, but not in the way he expected. They didn't hurt me anymore. They lit something inside me. I owe you? I repeated, stepping forward. I've given you everything. I paid off your DUI fine. I covered 3 months of Mom's rent when she lost track of her paycheck. I paid for Dad's dental surgery out of pocket because he didn't want to take out a loan. And I did it all while you sat on your ass and watched. His fists clenched at his sides. You'll regret this, he said through gritted teeth. You'll regret cutting us off. No, I won't, I said, my voice steady, but there was a coldness in it that I couldn't ignore. And don't even try to pretend you care about me. I saw the video. Benny's face went pale. For the first time, real fear flashed in his eyes. What video? His voice was low, almost trembling. I smiled, but it wasn't a kind smile. It was the smile of someone who'd been forced to play the part of a fool for far too long. You know exactly what video, I said, keeping my tone sharp, like cutting glass. Benny shifted on his feet, glancing away, his hands balled into fists at his sides. Look, it wasn't serious, okay? We were just joking. He sounded so pathetic, like he was trying to convince himself more than me. Joking? My voice was quiet now, but it was a cold fury that came out. You all sat around laughing, calling me a pathetic failure, saying I should be grateful for the chance to pay your bills. Do you have any idea what that feels like, Benny? To hear your own family talk about you like that? To be the punchline of their jokes? Benny exhaled harshly, rubbing his face like he could somehow erase the conversation. Riley, come on! No, I cut him off. You come on. You want money? Get a job. You want someone to take care of you? Find someone else, because I'm done. The silence between us stretched, thick and heavy. He just stood there, staring at me like he couldn't understand what was happening. For a second, I saw something flicker across his face. It was raw, like a flash of guilt, or maybe regret, but it was gone just as quickly, replaced by something harder. You don't mean that, he muttered, his voice weak, almost pleading. I held his gaze. Yes, I do. Another silence. Then his expression hardened. His mouth twisted into something ugly, something I'd seen in him before, but never this sharply. Fine, he spat. You want to be a selfish bitch? Go ahead. But don't come crawling back when you realize you have no one left. And then, with the kind of calm I'd only recently discovered, I slammed the door in his face. I stood there for a moment, hand still on the knob, heart racing. I half expected him to knock again, to start screaming, to bang on the door like he used to when we were kids fighting over the remote. But nothing. I walked back to the living room, my breath slowly evening out. I felt lighter, like I had just shrugged off a weighted coat I'd been carrying my entire life. I curled up on the couch, letting the silence soak in. But it didn't last. Later that night, my phone buzzed. I stared at the screen. I didn't want to check it. I knew it wasn't going to be good, but the curiosity, it gnawed at me. It was from my dad. Riley, we raised you. Don't think you can just walk away from everything we've done for you. You're making a huge mistake. Come back. We'll talk. We'll fix this. I read it once, then again. The nerve. I could hear his voice in my head, stern, disappointed, layered in guilt like always. But this time, something inside me was immune to it. They didn't want to fix anything. They wanted to reset things. Put the burden back on me, keep me financially and emotionally tied to their drama. But this time, I had a different idea. I got up, walked to my desk, opened my laptop, and started pulling up documents, bank statements, Zelle receipts, copies of checks, email threads where Mom had begged for just one more month's rent, Venmo screenshots with Benny's late night, "I'll pay you back soon," lies. I was done letting them rewrite history. I opened a blank email and started typing. Subject, final invoice. Attached is a detailed breakdown of every dollar I've given to this family, over $82,000 in 5 years. Not once did I ask for repayment. Not once did I say no. And all I got in return was guilt, gaslighting, and the emotional weight of carrying adults who never wanted to carry themselves. This isn't a demand. It's a record. Consider it a mirror. Look into it long enough, and maybe you'll see what I saw. A family who loved me when I paid and punished me when I didn't. Gray, don't contact me again. I'm done being your ATM. I'm done being your emotional punching bag. And for once, I'm choosing me. I attached everything, every single document. And then I did something I hadn't done in years. I opened the family group chat, the place that used to ping at all hours with, "Can you help?" and "We're short on rent," and "Benny's in trouble again." I scrolled through the messages, looking at all the times I had bent over backward, killing myself to be the responsible one, the fixer, the good daughter. Then, without hesitation, I dropped a message. You all love to talk about what you've done for me, but never once have you acknowledged what I've sacrificed for all of you. This is your reality check. You didn't need me. You used me, and I'm done. This is my last message. Don't ever contact me again. I hit send. The silence that followed was instant. No one replied. Not right away. And for once, I didn't feel the panic I used to. I didn't feel the dread of, did I go too far? Or was I being cruel? I felt free. That night, I didn't cry. I didn't overthink. I didn't stare at the ceiling questioning my worth. I slept. And when I woke up the next morning, the weight that had clung to my chest for years was just gone. Until my phone buzzed again. It was Benny. Of course it was Benny. You're making a mistake, Riley. You'll regret this. Family sticks together. I stared at the message, and I smiled. Not the fake, strained smile I used to put on after reading their manipulative texts. A real one. Because for the first time in my life, I saw it for what it was. His last pathetic attempt at control. But he had none left. I didn't reply. I didn't block him. I didn't delete the message. I just turned off my phone. I stood up, stretched, and poured myself a cup of coffee. For the first time, it tasted like freedom. No expectations, no guilt, just me, my choices, and a future that wasn't weighed down by anyone else's failures. It wasn't some huge dramatic explosion like the movies. There wasn't a shouting match in the rain or a teary-eyed apology. It was quieter. But in that silence, I found something powerful. Peace. And I knew, no matter how many messages they sent, no matter how many guilt trips they tried, I wasn't going back. I was done bleeding for people who never once tried to stop the cut. And for the first time ever, I could finally breathe. I could finally live. For me.